many people are out there, but how are we all doing tonight? I myself have a huge headache, and I cannot account for body temperature completely this evening. Call it a recovery stream, I guess, for a reason. The Monday evening warm up is more appropriate because I'm trying to keep warm, and I'm going to be doing warm up stuffs. So I think what would be good for everyone to do is to start off understanding that any of these things that I'm going to start doing should actually be done with a metronome. And I'm not going to do it with one because I'm not going to do it with one. But how are we all doing out there tonight? Assuming there is an all. So the first thing I want to do is a warm-up routine for finger independence on the left hand by Scott Tannen. Is one of the members of the Los Angeles Guitar Quartet. I don't know, he might still be a member of the Los Angeles Guitar Quartet. I haven't really been keeping track, but it's a classical thing. Oddly enough, I learned it while I was in pursuit of doing nothing but classical music stuffs. What does that mean? Well, that means for a year I put down the electric and I picked up a classical and I said, this was where my heart belonged, and I'm going to keep trying at this until I can at least play some pieces that I'd like to play. And it was somewhat successful, but, in the end, without a teacher, and classical lessons are more expensive typically than your average electric guitar lessons, regardless of style. But my only teacher was really like YouTube and some music videos. But without that, I think my progress was limited, of course, to just me. And I pushed myself continually, but I think that with some direction, well, you're doing this here, and you should be doing this like this here, with a little bit more direction like that, it would be good. Anyway, so one note per fret here. You can do it anywhere you like, but first, second, third, fourth, or second, third, fourth, fifth would be fine on the G string. And we're going to plant all four fingers, and you're going to take the two middle fingers, and you're going to interchangeably move them back and forth. And you want the notes to sound clear. Clean tone would probably be best, but I'm not using one. But I will brighten it up a bit. The point would be to play them together, though. And when you get comfortable with that, you can... Now, to me, that sounds like, there's a horror at the hospital. Somebody's coming to get you. But, the hallway is dark. The janitor closet, slowly opens as you're creeping around the corner trying to avoid any kind of, you don't want the axe murderer to come and get you, or the crazy doctor or whatever, but... And he's closer. But that's essentially, warm-up exercise number one. And if you feel like you wanted to approach the other strings on that, if you have a 7 string, that'd be, really good, because then you just ride on the D string and go ahead and try to, D and the E at the same time. It's a nice, even approach. But, if you wanted to go further than just the symmetrical, skip down 1 string or 2 strings, you can go ahead and do the, which I confess is significantly more difficult. Weirdly enough, it's more difficult for your ring finger when you're switching down to this than going the other way. I don't know why that is. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that you might know, and you can ask them why, besides the tendons being connected down here, is that so much more difficult. So these are the only 2 fingers that are actually connected tendon-wise. So it's really kind of interesting. These are the 2 hardest ones to separate. It's easier to move these 2 separately, although I don't feel like it is, but apparently it is. And these 2, of course, than it is to do it with those 2. So going on with that, so we'll just do that for a few minutes. Now we're really in a horror movie, aren't we? Yeah, that whole thing. doing it right. Got to make sure that this finger isn't obstructing this. So the point is, of course, not to go crazy with it. I mean, you can if you wanted to, but the point is just to make sure that the notes sound evenly. And you will feel that. You're going to feel it after a while. I mean, it might take you some time if you're a tenured player, but you're still going to feel it, which is pretty neat. Another one that I used to like to do a lot has to do with the chromatic scale. And chromatic exercises are fun for everybody because if you do them right, you get to annoy people with them. And if you do them really right fast, a lot of people think that they're really impressive, but they're not that impressive, really. But I used to like the... So this, standard chromatic scale. And you can play that in any position you want, because it's chromatic. It's got all the notes. Yeah, excuse me. If you wanted to play it right here. Like that, I mean, you can do what you want. But as far as this chromatic scale is concerned, it's just the 4-note per string. That's what we're doing. So the thing about that is, it's going up and down is fine. That's fine and good, but you don't really hear a lot of people descending in thirds, which is... And so forth. So it's just kind of neat to do it. Go down every other note. And then back up again. Isn't that cute? Now, I confess I haven't done that in a long time. I don't really warm up anymore. I just kind of play. And if I think of an idea, like this extension of the Satriani idea, type of deal. Actually, that's a neat thing to play. It's just, it's fun. Anyway, I do have a question for anybody who might be out there who's willing to take the plunge and go ahead and say something in the chat. That I do have a new audio interface that I'm recording with today. I am recording also with 2 mics on the often lauded speaker over there of the Eminence Manowar variety. And I'm just wondering, how does it sound? Anybody? Anybody? I'm curious. Let's continue warming up, shall we? This whole thing with the... We can also descend in thirds. Oh, hey, buddy. How you doing, man? How does it sound? Sound okay? I'm only seeing some bars down here on the OBS, of course, letting me know that I am actually recording. But apart from that, or I'm on. I can tell that I'm on, but I can't hear it, so I don't know what I sound like. Could crank it a notch? Yeah, I can do that. The only reason why I was hesitant to go any louder than this is that this... Oh, yeah. Well, when I was doing it before... I'm glad it sounds good. When I was doing it before... There we go. Still good? Good. So let's get back to, I appreciate you chiming in there, man. I really do. Your opinion is definitely solid. So thank you. So let's keep going with this whole warm-up thing. So some of the stuff I used to do when I was, well, I'd pet a cat, that's for sure. Hi there, Hoppy Boy. How we doing? But we're going to take the same type of thing where we were doing the... Good, because that's how I felt when I got home. I'm like, you know what, I got to practice. So that's what gave me the idea for the warm-up stream. That, and I'm having a trouble actually maintaining body temperature right now. So it's getting cold, but hey, yeah, we're also expecting some pretty nasty weather. I wouldn't call it a hurricane, but the coast is going to get hurricane force winds. Yeah, they're talking about a bomb cyclone coming in. I'm thinking this cyclone is the bomb. No, the last time we had one of these was like... the 2006 storm that we lost trees on. We got bigger trees around our house now, so I'm a little concerned, but it's supposed to start naturally tomorrow night. So, and then it's going to lighten up and all that. But so let's talk about the chromatic thing though. So this, let's do descending in threes, not thirds, which was here. Okay, this is 3. That's kind of, 6 head. If you wanted to do that. But again, chromatic exercises are basically made to either annoy people or do nutty things that other people and guitarists in particular wouldn't expect. So that's the fun part about them. As you can whip that out in a lead, You can do weird stuff like that, and it'll grab some attention, which is kind of nice. You don't have to do it in standard chromaticisms, though. You can do whatever you want with it. You can do it in... And yes, that was 4. But going back is equally as fun. That whole... Excuse me. Fun. It's just, it's fun. It's fun because, you're making yourself play stuff that you're not accustomed to. And of course, that's the whole point of practicing, is to try to break barriers. So by playing things that you're not comfortable playing, you're expanding on what you can actually do. So it's a cool thing. Another one that I used to do, I've actually talked about this one before, is the... That one's fun, just again for finger independence. Starting much like this. That's the best one I've ever learned for this kind of thing. But this is pretty good too. And you could do that with all sorts of things. You could do it with hybrid picking if you need to practice that. And really, think about it. All you're doing is playing this and this. That's where you're starting it. wanted to do it on octaves, you could. There we go. What's some other stuff? I used to go through just, I don't know, all sorts of and these are just kind of meaningless, I should say, exercises. They don't have any or carry any real weight to them. But I was working on an etude last week, and it's just, it's a common thing. And I thought that this was actually pretty good for both picking the left hand, and you could even throw in the third thing, that it's actually melodic. So it's kind of like this. And that, if I can play it all the way. And then you can just take that other places. And so yeah, it kind of is made for heavy metal. So this, yeah, well, now it wasn't always made for heavy metal, but no, the 90s Yamaha RGX series, and yeah, it sounds like RG is in like Ibanez, and nice to see you again. But is it pronounced Zuhair? Zuhair? Tell me if I'm right, because and if you'd like, we can try to hash that out. But anyway, no, it's a little monster. But I've replaced the pick guard. I made this pick guard based off of the pick guard that it had, but based off the needs that I have, because it came with a volume and a tone and a 5-way knife switch and 2 humbuckers and a single coil, and the single coil always gets in my way. Zuhair, awesome! Thank you very much for that, dude. I'm very cool, very cool. I want to get those things right, It's important to me. But let's see here. But this satisfies my needs as far as like anything that I want to get out of it as a sound. It has the capability of doing it. I like toggle switches too, so you'll see a lot of those on my guitars. But this, of course, is coil tapping, so these guys can, be coil tapped. So I can get more of a spanky. Just goofing off, I'm sorry. But let's see here. I had something for you, actually. How did I do that? It's how I used to play that on the Planet of Women. So, which could also be, but it sounds to me like he's sliding it. But that would be really hard to do. So this sounds right to me. I might be wrong. I've never seen him play it. But good cover of the Planet of Women. Well done. So the pickups. So the pickups are 1984s. You must have seen my last pickup cover from or not pickup cover, but the last video I did regarding the Alnico 8 pickup. So these are not from the same company. This is from Guitar Madness on eBay. These are their 1984s, and I like their 1984s a lot. I think that as just a common, I'm going to say it that way. It's oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. But yeah, so 1984s have a very good overall sound and a price of about $32 for the set. So as you know, I like cheap pickups. So those are cheap and they work really well. But I mean this sincerely, they don't hold a candle to the quality of the Sandman stuff. This is really good. I'm not kidding. But the distinction is, the difference is it's distinct. That just sounds much more like it can, well, I think the term punch above its weight, it sounds like it could actually fight Mike Tyson and win. Anybody see the fight? That was comical. I do think it was rigged. Tyson got paid anyway, one way or the other. But yeah, these are 1984s from, I'll show them to you. And I have these in like 3 guitars. But the quality of the stuff off of Guitar Parts Zone has got me pretty much just buying from him nowadays. And Your soloing sounds very scalular. Everybody starts out that way. Can I ask you how long you've been playing? I told you about temperature regulation. Let me take this off. You may not have been here when I mentioned it, but I'm having trouble staying warm, and it's not the temperature of the house. It's fine. It's just me. It's almost like I've been fasting or something. Dr. Grande, the YouTuber psychologist, analyzed the fight as fake. Yeah, well, I believe it. I saw the fight, and I didn't. There was something wrong with it. So, 15 years. Okay. So, 15 years being a guitar player. Okay. So, since you've been playing for 15 years and you know your scales, we're going to make the assumption because you can play a lot of stuff. And if it's sounding scalular, that means you're probably going through scales. So, some of the things that you might think about doing to alter your approach when you're just kind of playing is to think about stopping more than what it is that you wanted to accomplish as far as like, how fast do you want to go and stuff. So, oh yeah. Okay. So other genres are things. So I've got this thing about other genres of music, and you could tell by what I was talking about, earlier with, the classical thing that I've been around the block a few times, and I'm into other things than just thrash metal. So in fact, I think that name is almost wearing on me. I'm not so sure that it really suits, because I like music generally. I'm not a big fan of R&B or rap or anything like that, but I'm not a fan of it at all, really. There's some stuff that I hear and I go, oh yeah, it reminds me of when I was a kid, like when I was 18. But that's maybe even 20, but that's about as far as she goes. I just don't listen to that kind of music. It's not very musical to me. But and what is musical is sampled from other people actually playing music. So there's all sorts of reasons not to like it. The thing about the scalar, though, let me answer you directly, is think about two things. And this is what I think about. You don't have to, but and then I'll get back to what I was saying about how I think about other genres. But the thing about the thing that you're doing, which is sounding scalular, is instead of thinking about the way you're phrasing the scales, is you should think about chord shapes. And how many chord shapes you can find. So like there's a major, for instance. There's an A major. Another way to play an A major is here. Another way to play an A major is here. And stuff, like that. Think about where those chords are, okay? Lazarus Diamond Plate, Tantra Warbringer. I've heard of Warbringer. That's well spoken, though. The thing that got me into thrash in the first place no longer exists, but there's a lot of not internally here, but in the music scene. But the old stuff dies hard, and I'm still big into Nuclear Assault, Creator, stuff like that. But I'm getting older. I'm not angry all the time. And, I'm not like the Hulk, I got a secret. I'm always angry. Anyway, I want you to start thinking about chord shapes, because this is where you'll stop most of the time. So if I'm playing a lead, those are your target notes, the notes that are in the chord. So if I wanted to extend that a little bit and play a seventh, now I can use the seventh over, again, just regular C major, but I've got a seventh note here that I can do things with. Actually, it should have been. But that's not the whole thing. There's more to it than that. So, you heard the wrong note that I played. That kind of takes us up to other territory. I could be playing in a couple of different things with that over A. I could be playing in essentially... Oh, shoot. What is that? C sharp minor, or I could be playing in, let's see. Well, it's essentially That's literally a melodic minor. So, but you could be playing in a whole bunch of different stuff, and then you switch the keys back to normal, but that takes you outside of the key. And by going outside of that was my whole thing there, is if you're going outside of the key for just a little bit, then that'll catch your ear, and it'll catch the ears of your listeners. And when you go back to normal, back home, to the right key, then everybody will go like, oh, wow, that was unique and refreshing and different. Look at Marty Friedman for all those kind of things, where he's just like, let's say... You know, that kind of always bending from a wrong note, which is great because he, Uli Roth, those are pretty much the only guys that really, patented doing that. So let's talk about that though with the... So at that point, you're starting to think melody as opposed to just strict scales. One of the things that broke me of the habit of thinking about... Yes, I do. I mean to tell you to randomly go outside of the key. So when you when I say randomly go outside of the key, I'm talking about for your exploration phase, because you can't just go ahead and say this is by rule the thing that I want to hear, and not know where it is. So if you're thinking always going to play, let's say I'm still playing major here, and I always want to play the flat 3, and then go up to the sharp 3, or the natural third, then you're kind of stuck in the blues thing, right? Or country if you just play it, that's a little more country than just... So, but that's how you find out whether or not it's a note that you would like to choose to use. So is by literal experimentation. So one of the things that'll get you outside of the key is somebody telling you about taking some notes, like specific notes, and add them to a scale, for instance, that you would be kind of playing, but not in a scalar sense. So you can play anything you want between here and here, or here and there, but keep in mind what I told you in the first place was to keep target notes in mind. So let's say that you're going to do what Randy Rhoads used to do, and you're going to make kind of a guide track. Let's say you've got just a rhythm. So think chords instead. So going on that, what I was saying is the chords are the most important things because that's where you're really stopping. Now, I'm essentially trying to teach you how to play like Jerry Garcia right there, but that's not the point. I'm not teaching the caged system, but you need to know where these chords are. So again, this is just A major. Oh yeah, so the major third, yeah, is an octave, of course, 2 whole steps above. There, a little out of tune. You fix that. So that here, and then there's your third. You can play them up here as well. There's that third again. So knowing where those chords are is kind of giving you a basis about where to stop. Now, this is not telling you how to change into the next thing. So, like for that, for instance. So I'm at that point superimposing over there. This is, you know, you could consider this B minor, but with the G in the bass, makes it a G major 7. Those two notes, D and F sharp, for this, for instance, are still in that chord, the D major. So if we were to go here, so that, mind your notes, then know where it's supposed to be. You know, and then the off-key bends. But yeah, if you're just playing along with something, so now a minor, go out of the key intentionally. Okay? You've been soloing over a B minor backing track. Well, fantastic then. So 12 bar blues. Wouldn't be surprised. They're either 8 or 12 most of the time, so. Well, you could also like there's something really magical about those blues things with only 7th chords, because you're always kind of a fifth away from home, but it allows you to play in all sorts of things. So I can. Or so feel so amazed when the B minor comes on, and use the B minor pentatonic scale to go over it, and the E minor comes on, use the E minor scale. It sounds at home. Yes, well, because it's true. Let's see. Diddy's favorite chord is A minor. Is it really? Oh, ow. Ouch. I've got a headache, dude. Stop that. Well, it's definitely not the holiest chord, which is G sus. Ouch, dude. That's not cool. Oh my God. That's the best joke I've heard today. All right, so getting back to the B minor. So over B minor, you can play many things, as long as it has, now in the Western modes, as long as it has a minor third in it, you should be pretty good. But I want you to take note of this. The more complex a chord is, the more it outlines what you're allowed to do really within it. So if I was just starting off with a root 5, well, there's all sorts of chords that are scales that I could play over that. So simple as that. Or so you could really mix and match. You can do all sorts of stuff with it because there's only 2 notes in the chord. I have a text message. I have 2 text messages. Oh, it's Doug. I'll tell you guys about Doug later. You physically went over to Lonnie's. He's okay, still alive, but has a case of the dropsies. Didn't even know there was an issue, man. Thanks for at least telling us. Tell that boy to stand up straight. It's a friend of ours that probably doesn't have much longer. So, anyway. Oh, he dropped his phone. That's all. He was actually not supposed to make it into 2024, but he's still kicking. So, good guy. Let's see. Well, at least you have that. That's good. Tell him to stop dropping his phone then. Staples in a tether. All right, let's get back to it, y'all. So what I was saying about this is it really opens doors. As soon as you incorporate the minor third, well, okay, now you have to have a minor third in whatever it is you're playing. It doesn't have to be there, but this is kind of an established chord tone. So because it's an established chord tone, it's going to dominate. It has nothing to do with dominant chords, but it's going to dominate the tonality a little bit. So if I'm sitting back going... You can't just go... I mean, you can, but it's going to sound a little like Frank Zappa. And I think one of the things that I should probably talk about more than anything else then is intent. If whatever you're hearing over a chord, and I mean whatever you're actually hearing, if this is what you want to play, you know... You know, if that's what you want, well, you can go right ahead. That's how new styles are born. But it's a matter of really following what it is that's the inner voice that's saying, I want this note to be here. Or I need this note to live here. This has to be there. I'm hearing it here. And this is one of the things about ear training that's so important, why tabs are so bad for you. It doesn't give you, tabs that is, doesn't give you the ability to go ahead and hear what's in here and then translate it to here. But learning by ear does. So... And I'm not dissing theory, by the way, at all. But I'm suggesting that if you're going to learn somebody else's material, it's best to, not follow what somebody else says that it is. When soloing, do I imagine the solo in my head and hear it first? Well, yeah, man. There's all sorts of things that I could say about that. I mean, so let's give you an example. I'm a very big believer in improv. That you should, like what you're doing with the backing tracks, you should make your own backing tracks, but other people's backing tracks do exist. Let's get one of those up. So, guitar. Let's see about that. Okay. Groove in D minor. It's the first thing that pops up for me. No, I don't want to hear other people. Here we go. So, I'm going to listen to this, and then I'm going to think, what won't ruin this? See, now that's nice. And I'm thinking chord tones, but I'm also thinking about mood. There's a lot of stuff that goes through. You guys know how a GPU works? Or a CPU? I mean, our brains kind of have the same type of thing going. So I want to explain it this way, is I'm not thinking any one thing. I'm thinking about lots of things. So, backing tracks too quiet. Oh, yes, I must know. Thank you very much for telling me. Let's turn that up. There we go. You know, stuff like that. So you get my general vibe on that. It's what is the mood of the piece? What am I playing over? You know, is it supposed to be happy? Am I supposed to expand the boundaries of the music? What do you want to hear in that? Like, I'll change it. So it's D minor to G7, or D minor 7 to G minor 7. All right. So it's essentially here to G minor 7. So it's a 1/4. Well, what can I do with that? I can do a lot of stuff with it. If I wanted to jazz it up a little bit, I could play different minor keys. Like, instead of playing straight Aeolian like I was doing, I must never be happy. I am never happy. You can tell by the smile, you know, and the sarcasm. So in this, I'm going to change this to let's play with it a little bit. Let's do Phrygian, and then let's also do Dorian. So first time through. Now you're going to find that some of those notes don't really lend themselves to being there, because this sure fits that very well, but this. So if I'm doing this, that's not in there. But if I play it anyway, it will be. So the major third, not there. Major third, minor third. That's what I'm going to be doing. So the first one will hit really pretty well. After that, not so much. So I'll show you how to do that. And it sucks, but that doesn't mean stop trying. Oh, it's a minor 7. Sorry. I was playing major 7. Well, don't play the major 7 in a minor key. So, all right. So the Dorian here changes the tonality by just a little bit. Because Dorian versus straight Aeolian, well, for one, Dorian's got a major 6 as opposed to the minor 6. That's a nice change. Very nice. In fact, that would fit real nice too. Do you always keep track of what's... Yes, you should. And the reason why you should know what's going on underneath you is the same reason why you need to know what the conditions of the road are that you're driving on with the car. If you don't know what's going on the road, well, you're probably going to have an accident. Or, you know, you're just driving blind. Oh my God, maybe I'll make it, I don't know. But, you know, driving by rote, like I can drive 100 feet and then I turn right, 100 feet, then I turn left, 100 feet, you know, whatever, and I go exactly at 60 miles an hour. It's like navigating under the ocean, where you need your charts and your maps and stuff like that, and you have to do it with all calculations. You don't have any feel for it. You can't just feel a submarine through a trench, for instance, but you can do that with a car. You can feel it through the corners. And that's the whole point with doing it this way. So when I'm thinking about here, like I said before, chord tones, but I can stop here when I'm on this chord. I can stop here. By the way, that is very similar to B flat major, because essentially a G minor 7 is a B flat major chord, but instead of it starting with a B flat, it starts with a G. So there's that. And that's just, you know, thinking out loud. But yeah, you actually want to do it this way. You want to have in mind what's behind you. I never learn a lead unless I know what the rhythms are, because knowing the rhythms are going to help me figure out what is in the lead, what constitutes that lead. And doing this helps expand your vocabulary insofar as like music is concerned, because you actually understand the workings of, like something you liked listening to, what's going on underneath of it will allow you to find out what's going on above it and why it works or why it doesn't work, but it sounds great. It lets you know about a whole lot of stuff. So it's pretty cool. The B minor backing track, you didn't, well, do. so this, let's do a B minor backing track just to have fun with you there. B. So also it's funny to say B minor in its abbreviated term, BM, because of course that means poop. So elegant swing groove backing track in B minor. Let's try that. Oh, that's special. I feel like I'm in the 80s. So that is an allowable thing. Not so much. So, as you can tell, I'm struggling a tiny little bit with it because I am not an 80s guy. Well, I am an 80s guy, but I'm not I don't belong in the Steve Lukather category. I'm much more along the lines of, oh, do this? Type of thing. But with ear training, it helps. So this, that's, so, you can do all sorts of stuff like that. I got a cat right here, by the way. Can't see him, but he's right there. Hopper, there's Kitty. There he is. There's my boy. Such a nice kitty. So anyway, so let's see. A lot of the notes overlapped among B, F sharp minor. So B, F sharp minor. So usually on a 5, you wouldn't have a minor chord, but you'd have like a major. I mean, you can have a 5. But normally the cadence is a so, but that's more for the bluesy type of things. Yeah, you might not be wrong. So spread it out there. A little work to do on the guitar. So MJ's backing tracks. Well, this is on Sebastian Zunio. So, all right, hold on. Groovy Blues in B minor. All right. How about I also put in backing track? Low, I shall blow your mind in a minute if I can get the right one. Groovy Blues and B, 120 beats per minute. Yeah, this must be it. Remember, B minor is bowel movement. Now I got weird licks. And keep in mind, again, outside the scale. So this thing with the... That, yeah, it's in 4/4. So, but you know, there's a bit of a swing to it. So. It goes to F minor, so. Okay, again, so instead of just going, or think about where you are in the chord. So if I think about where I am in the chord, so this, yes, the off key note, you notice that too. This, you know, just bend it up to the right one. But because you're always, you can think of it a couple of different ways. You're always a half step away from a note that's correct. And you are usually within a half step from a place that you wanted to stop, which is like a chord tone, like I was saying before. So if I'm here, what's another B minor? Well, I could do it here. But that's your note. Those are just, you know, the notes in the chord, which is the same as the notes in the chord here. And the pentatonic is a chord, you know. It's not just your average everyday chord, but it is a minor with a 4, so that's an 11. So, you know, if you add your third, so the third is in there, it's not a suspended, so you just kind of say add, or, you know, you can tack on, you know, whatever value you want, but it's essentially 1 minor third, 4, 5, flat 7. So it's a minor flat 7, add 11. That's it. That's all it is. So, you know, you don't run up and down scales. You move from position to position. Okay, well, if it's sounding scalular to you, think about, instead of positions, think about what, okay, chords once again, yes, but I want you to think about other things instead of, well, it's going to feel more or less the same until you start adding things that aren't supposed to be there and making them right. So, well, I'm not kidding, you know. Okay, so let's play this. I'm going to play some wrong notes, and I'm going to mean to play them. But I think the difference between playing a wrong note and having it just sound wrong is, like Paul Gilbert used to say, is how hard you whack the string. So if it sounds like you mean it, well, maybe it's not so bad. How quickly can you get away from it, too? That's another one. So check it out. Bending from a half step down. That's all I'm doing. Oh, it's fun. So that whole thing with that's just to show you that it's off notes oftentimes are the things that make things kind of special and stand out and different. So I'm not a blues player. This is my mantra. I am not a blues guy. I'm not a blues guy. I'm much more of that, you know. Yeah, or how would I do that? Yeah, and I would just keep on moving that. I'm much more of a classical cat. I had to learn how to sound like I belong. It's almost like acquiring an accent. So if I was to, you know, go down to the South and I wanted to masquerade as a Southerner, how y'all doing today? You got some of that there barbecue? You know, I can kind of do that. Well, my grandfather was from Kentucky and it helps. But so for the blues, I had to learn the accent, you know, and that's essentially what I'm doing right there. I'm learning the accent. What's the accent? Well, there's a lot of bending. There's a lot of thinking that this works. So major over minor works. Minor over major works better. But it all depends on the kind of feel that you're trying to do. So let's go back here to the start. And bending from the minor to the major. So that is a whole bunch of nonsense, but you get the general idea, right? This combines some neat notes. That is essentially B minor with the added flat 5 of the blues scale. And you don't have to play it like I did. You can, you know. Or but either way, the thing is, when you play it like that, that's essentially melodic minor, which is really kind of cool. So this legato run is what you want to do. This legato run, southern legato run, tell me of the... if you're posting a link, I cannot see links in the chat because I have links disabled. Sorry. And it's not because of you, but it's because of spammers in the past that I turned those off. So... But if you wanted to do something like this, you can even do it. Well, I wasn't sure if you did or not. So here's the thing. Not a lot of people do 4-note per string stuffs, but... I think they're useful. That is in key. So this... That's what you want to have in your soloing? Off notes? Gotcha. Or legato? I got you there too. It's a little different though. You still need to have something in mind. You don't want to meander. You want to... something you can do is sing along, right? Of course, you're trying to think of things that aren't going to ruin the mood of the song, but sing along. Okay, I'm in E minor, and I'm back to B minor. Back to B minor. F sharp minor. But that's where my failing comes in, because I don't listen to this stuff. This is not music that I know, you know? I just know an accent to it, okay? Not the off key notes, the legato. Yeah, okay, so that, if you want to sound like the people that you listen to, don't listen to them, listen to their influences. So, like what I just did right there was essentially like textbook Satriani. This is scales. Yes, absolutely. But what it's not is completely even. And I think that's the difference that Satriani is between like Satriani and what's another one? Holdsworth, for instance. Holdsworth was very, you know, even tempo, or even, you know, the pick just has to hit just right to make every note sound exactly the same. And if you can do that, more power to you, because that's really hard to do. But at the same time, you know, you're relying less on. It's hard to say. So please bear with me. So if I made all of my notes for my faster passages sound exactly the same as every other note that I'm playing, then you have to concentrate harder on where you stop. Because what you just did is more meaningless more of the time than not. So when I think about each individual note and how they would sound out in a lick like this, which is harder to do at first, but after a while you kind of get used to it. What gets the mute? What doesn't? The dynamics of making it kind of roll like a ball of mercury. That's what Satriani used to say, at least. So, kind of ebbing and flowing back and forth like liquid. Having dynamics, maybe rolling over some rocks and having some, some turbulence in there or something like that is really, really cool. But, that's just my preference. Other people don't prefer things like that. So it's nice to be able to do both, So that's my style. So if I was to do... It may have a slightly different impact. That's much more even. Or picking as I change every string. It'll keep it a little more even, but also I could pick harder and accent those notes. But it just makes it sound more aggressive, and if that's not what I'm trying to pull off, then, I'm not going to do that. But so it's not a satisfactory answer, but most of what I'm doing here is intuiting and feel what it is that I need to play and where, knowing what the chords are behind what it is that I'm going to be doing. It's very helpful, tremendously. So you're going to try to come up with scalator runs passages. You should, absolutely, most definitely do that. One of the things that I'll have you work on is just kind of rolling a lick back and forth. This is pure Satriani. You do what you want with it. But add a note, take a note away. That's another one, is note extraction, taking notes out. So instead of doing like, let's take out this note. Put the note back. So you could do that. That's a fun one. So you just do that. That's fun. But this is what I was going to do. It does. It sounds like a different lick. And that'll go down here too, because those two notes don't exist, so you could do all sorts of stuff with it. But keep in mind, it's more important about where you're stopping than what it is you're playing in between the stops. And so something that I was saying earlier on was laying down like a guide track. So if you're hearing this, think chord tones, think where you want it to go and how you want it to stop by only playing where you would stop. Like, watch. So, and wait, before I do, here's the Satriani thing. So, it's just back and forth. Okay? And that's 9, 7, 5 on the D string. Oh, that's Looney Tunes, sorry. You're basically just going to go a few times, but you're going to take that into a couple of different places. So a chord tone is the notes in a chord. So let's be specific about what a it's essentially right, but a chord tone is literally just the notes in a chord. So any tone or note that's in a chord. So what is it? What is a note? Let's describe what a note is actually. So a note has pitch. That would be like the megahertz and stuff like that we've been talking about, prior. So it has pitch, or a fundamental. It has a tone. It has time. So how long does the note last? And we you know, we meter that out with like beats per minute. And then is it a whole note, a half note, a quarter note, you know, and all the way down to 1/28th. I don't think anybody plays that, but you can, unless you're a FX twin. But there's timbre. Now, what's timbre? Timbre, spelled timbre, you know, Timbre, is what we talked about, the tone, the note. Like this is an E, that's the fundamental. But why does it sound like a guitar? Well, it's the matter of the overtones in the overtone series, the harmonics, that you can hear in the sound as well. So it's what makes a guitar sound like a guitar. It's what makes a flute sound like a flute. You get a fundamental pitch, and the thing that makes it also has kind of a resonant overtone that, you know, goes with it. So, like, for instance, if I played this note really quick and I held on to this E and I stopped this from ringing, you can still hear that note ring because it's ringing in sympathy. That note is ringing in sympathy from me just hitting that. No, it's more than the root. It's everything else. So this, for instance, so we've done an octave. Let's do a fifth. So this is the fifth. This note will also be in that note. Excuse me. See, hear that? Why is it ringing in sympathy? It's because the note was already there inside. It's just kind of buried a little bit, but you can still hear there's a B in that. There's all these. All of those are buried inside the string. And they're all ringing when I hit this chord. Just not all of them ring very loudly. But that's why you have these harmonic nodes. Which is slightly off. That note is actually between an E, or excuse me, the major third and the minor third. So it's pretty neat. So a chord tone is the chord's notes, the notes inside the chord. So if I'm playing B minor, all you have to know for chord tones no, those notes might be in there, but when I switch to E minor, which is why you should know where those notes are and maybe be able to play it in a few more places than that. So Yep. That's literally, you're playing the changes when you're doing that. So without any fancy licks or runs or anything. So let's, that Satriani thing, this. Skipping back around, sorry about that, but I'm just doing that. Then you're going to take it down in the string and play pretty much the same thing. Trill with those. So and when I'm just going down like that, I'm literally just connecting the dots. So this, that's it. That's all I'm doing right there. So different notes in the same chord. Well, yeah, there are. So B minor. But remember, you don't have to play that minor scale because the notes of this chord are very, very limited. You only have 3 tones in it. So you have B, F sharp, and D. So there's all sorts of stuff you could do with it. I'll play Phrygian here, which is E minor, over B minor. So you see, it depends on the tones that you want to achieve. As long as the notes in the chord remain in whatever it is that you're playing, somewhere, somehow, it's all going to turn out okay. So let me change that from Phrygian to another minor. Let me do Dorian, which is essentially A major or F sharp minor. So this would be in B Dorian. See what I mean? You don't, as long as the notes that are in the chord are still being effectively played, you're fine. And I didn't change keys once in the whole thing. I'm not suggesting that that's the way you play it, but I'm suggesting that you should explore the options. Now, I'm going to do one more. You were using the pentatonics to solo over this. What am I doing different? Oh, I'm using the Western modes. So like Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, that kind of thing. But so this is going to be a fun one. I'm going to play Locrian. So remember, there's 3 major and 4 minor scales in the Western modal series. So make sure you use the chord tones. As long as the chord tones are in there and that you're thinking about them and where they actually lay, those kind of give you a place to stop too. You don't. Most of the time, a person doesn't stop on the mediant, which is the 3rd, but you can. It does. It's a thing. Most of the time, you want to start on the mediant or the 6th, which is the submediant. So you could start on the 3rd, you can start on the 6th, or you can go ahead. I'll be like, well, let me give you a difference here between starting on the 3rd and starting from the 6th. That's the 3rd. Now you didn't want to hear that note, so let me try that again, but huh? Yeah, you can pay me back by playing. But I really appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much for your offer. At some point in the future, probably will be monetized, and you can send things like that if you want. But I am not currently, so no, it's really great. I appreciate you, man. I really do. That's really, really kind. So the cat appears to have spread. Now the cat is somewhat disgusted because he can't be on my shoulder right now, and he knows it. So I mean, he could. I totally let him get up, but I don't think he'd want to unless I had my legs up or something. But. So let's talk about this structure. So this is the only one I haven't played yet. Excuse me. Which is Locrian. And why haven't I played Locrian? Because the 5th is flat. So it's technically out of key. But as long as I know that it's out of key, and I can correct for it. Oh, I was going to start on the 6th too. But as long as I know that it's out of key and I can correct for it, we're fine. Okay? So I can play this note as much as I want. As long as I correct it, put it in the right place. Anyway, usually the mediants, they're not a leading tone. The 7th is a leading tone, but and what does that mean? It just wants to go home. So the 6th resolves nicely to the 5th. It can also resolve up, but weirdly to the root, the octave. The 3rd wants to resolve home or to the 5th. So, and it's the same. So both of them work in the same way. So check out Alter Bridge. Oh no, I know their first 2 albums pretty well, and I think The Ties That Bind is one of my favorite tunes from them. And then what's the other one? Because that's just ridiculous. It's great, really really groovy stuff. Hey, the singer's from up here. I live in wet Western Washington, but he's from Spokane, so he's from dry Eastern Washington. So used to sing in a disco band of all things. It's really funny to me. But yeah, no, Mark Tremonti is actually a monster guitar player. He's really 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 good. And I didn't used to be able to say that because I wasn't a fan of Creed, mainly because the singer didn't ever sing with his mouth open. He even sang a song about it. My mouth's not open. So, yeah. Miles Kennedy was great, but I didn't care for Creed. Yeah. So at any rate, what I was going to say about this though, let's do the sixth to resolve and then a third to resolve, and I'll just use B minor for the example. Okay. Are we ready? Third. Anyway. Sixth. To the 5, right? So I guess that's what I'm saying, is find your tones, man. Search inside of that stuff, that matrix, break it down. Next thing I was going to play was Locrian, which, by the way, is C major or A minor. In this case, it's B Locrian. Here we go. Remember, I said I could correct for this wrong note here. Stopping on the right note. So that's the thing. That sounds deliberately wrong because it is mostly deliberately wrong. It's got a flat 2, a flat 3, a flat 5, a flat 6, and a flat 7. This thing's flat everywhere. And what this wants is the flat 3, yes, a flat 6, yes, a flat 7, sure, but this note throws it for a loop because this is what's in there, not that. So you have to kind of play to the strength. You can play blues, literally, and then add your flat 2 every once in a while. See it? Do you see how that works, by the way, that thing? I literally just did that. It sounds like Toto. Give me a second on that. I'm going to do that again. Oh! I think I got one high fret. How about them apples? Anyway, which one was that? The weird thing with the... That's just a 7. arpeggio, but that's what I started it as. Same. You can even mess around. So another thing that you can do, and this is fun to do, is try listening to what else could be in the song. Okay? Let's try that one more time. So already we've got Sunshine of Your Love, which is fun. What else can we do? Okay, so let's try this. So a little bit of Stairway. It doesn't quite work, but you know, that's something you can do. What's another one? How did that go? But that's not where it goes, so let's do it here. It's only so much you can do, right? Oh, Master of Puppets. Okay, hold up. I got it. But you see, now Master of Puppets is here. So that, we've already kind of established that's not really something. We don't really want to do that, so I'm going to move that up to here. Okay, let's try that. Let's do it. Yeah, there you go. How do I know what key it's in? Have you heard Master of Puppets? That's the first note the lick starts from. So this is based off of a, you can look at it in several different ways, but the most common way to look at it is an A minor 7. Obviously, because that's based over the 3rd. That'd be an A minor 9. To a C minor 7. And that's not here. No, it doesn't sound bad, does it? But this. So I'll play it here, Hammett's way, and you will hear that. Oh yeah, that's not it. So, oh, when it wants to start playing here. Why did I stop there instead of on E? Easy. Because stopping on a 4 suspends things. So if I just... Works for E, but it doesn't work for B. B wants to do something else. Kind of fits, but it ain't right. It doesn't fit the mood of the song. This... That does. Now... Remember I talked to you about taking somebody else's licks, I think a while ago, but take somebody else's licks and add stuff to it. So for this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to change it up a little bit. pretty common, right? Let's do something that's not quite as common. Let's go down. Okay. Do that. Okay, so instead of this, so we'll just go down to 4s. That'll work fine, but let's keep it in key. So actually, that would be here. Right, so that would be better. Let's try it. Back it up. Yes, that's way out, by the way. Use octaves. That's another one. Trying to get that right. There, just pulling it off just enough. Then there's bar tricks. And this is literally what you would play to impress people at a bar. There's a happy kitty. You can't see him, but he's a good boy. Stretchy kitty. Come here, baby. Come on. Come here. Come here. There's my boy. There's my kitty boy. All right, now he's happy. Oh, there he goes. So, hey man, I appreciate you saying that. Let's make it not sound so good. Let's play things that should deliberately not be played under such circumstances. Because you are playing for yourself, yes, but if other people hear you, you're playing for an audience whether you like it or not. And so I think one of the things that we have to take with us is what doesn't sound good. And so it's more of like, don't turn down that road. Things to avoid. That's a bad neighborhood. We don't want to go down there. And so this and Yngwie does not mix. I mean, we can do it, but it shouldn't be there. I should not do that. So the point is to try to find yourself within this somewhere, though. So start with the guide track, like I was saying before, kind of making it, what notes do you want to hear? Really simple. I want to hear that note. I really like to hang out on seconds or nines, depending on what you want to call it. And that's a quick description there. It goes back home. Be an excellent time to work on your vibrato as well, because you don't want necessarily the same thing again and again and again and again and again, right? So, yes, chord tones, focus on what you want to hear. Scalar runs, if you do the scalar runs, try to make them dynamic, and they have to go in between the notes where you stop. So, you know, don't get lost, know where you are. Do experiments, though, you're right. Yeah, yeah, song parts you know from others, but change those. Change those. That's the thing you take away from that one, though. So if you already know, like the Planet of Women solo, for instance, which you do, and you played it very well. So that whole thing there, try to play it in other places. Try to play it differently. Take that solo, add or subtract notes. You can do stuff called like note elimination, and all this is just a mental exercise. What we were talking before about like not playing any of these notes, so. Nope. So eliminate one note. Let's say out of B minor pentatonic, you're not allowed to play the 7th anymore. So, well, if you can't play the 7th, you're pretty much limited. Play the 7th, you can play other notes, but yeah, that kind of thing. So let's try that. No 7th. That's that note. Skipped right over it. Ah! I just played the intervals to Mission Impossible. Well, there's only 12 notes, so. that's essentially... Right? So, yeah, that's it. All right, cool. Let's play something else. Let's do non-groove, non-soul. A bit higher. No, I don't do drugs. So I know what you mean. So groovy blues track in B minor. All right, let's try not groovy track. No. Guitar backing track. More groove. Lots of grooves now that I said groove once. Everything's groovy. So, yeah, right. Okay. Let's see. Guitar backing tracks. Yeah, everything's groove. I'm not saying groove. I just said guitar backing track. It was blues. A minor 7. What the hell? Why not? A minor. This is essentially the same thing, just down two frets. So, dude, everything I just told you, absolutely, good to follow, pursue it. But the biggest thing is to listen to what you think needs to be there and to do it. You ever try going public and selling over a backing track? No, I'm more of a session guitar player. I've soloed for, Reptalian, an upcoming thing. Oh, yeah, that's something you might want to hear. So there's a thing I should probably talk about. So let me set this down for a second so I can do some heavy lifting on the keyboard. It came out, it might already be sold out, but if you're interested in hearing me play over a Christmas track by a very bombastic and awesome guitar player, and under the name of Reptalian, they're on a, well, let me just find it real quick and tell you about it. So, and I may have mentioned this before. It wouldn't surprise me if I've mentioned it before, but I may have mentioned it before. And I've got somewhere in here, let's see, where's the Lambs of the Slaughter? Ashes in Your Mouth, cover, blah, blah, blah. No, Reptalian, there we go. The promo, here we go.
'Twas the night before Christmas.
That's
and
me.
Under the tree waits a most amazing gift, A Christmas That Rocks, Volume 3. 300 copies is all that they'll make.
Oh. So where's my tea?
This rare disc has Christmas cojones, something a poser can't fake. Adorned with metal music that'll light up your tree. Why, even Reptalian's on it too, with the solo spot for me. Rocks Records.
Like
packaged
Buckethead?
this holiday spirit, so
if they
go
wanted
forth
me to
and
do
buy
it, they
so
would.
Your family can
But
hear it. Stick it in their stocking or stick it in their ear. Stick it in their leather jacket and spread metal Christmas cheer. With winter fast approaching, we hope you all don't freeze. So go and gift some metal to your loved ones. It's the Christmas bee's knees.
Well, at any rate, I also wrote the backing track to that. I would like to share this, by the way. This is the coolest thing I've discovered all week. I think my headache's gone. Thank goodness for Advil. Take a look at this. I'm going to share my screen and tell me what you see. Keep in mind, this is Windows 10. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. VLC in dark mode. I'll bet you're all wondering, how the hell did you do that? Well, it's going to be incorporated in the next build. So VLC is the ultimate media player, but it's been glaring at us brightly forever, and they just never put a dark mode in. They did for the phones, that's nice and all. I think they even had it for Linux where it's dark mode, Mac where it's dark mode. They had a somewhat dark mode for their old Metro skin. But this is where it's at because it's perfect this way. They just gave it a dark palette. So, this is the nightly build 3.0, I want to say 221, and or 3.0211. That's it. And there is a dark mode palette in that. So uninstall your VLC, close everything because it won't install if there's pretty much anything else open in your system. So if you've got, it wouldn't install for me because I had Reaper open. So I closed Reaper, closed everything else, but I closed Reaper finally and it installed. But otherwise it comes with an error about not being able to write to specific folders or whatever. But the thing is that I'm really enraptured about with this is that now VLC is the way it always should have been. Dark. Thank God. And thank the devs. So it's important. So yes, VLC dark mode. Yay. Oh, it's such a fine, wonderful thing. That's so good. But yes. So A Christmas That Rocks Volume 3. Very, very important there. Let's do that. Rocks volume, probably should just say vol.3. Let's see if we can come up with it. No. Nope. I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way with quotations. Do it like so. Oh shoot, nope. They really, really do. It's going to be incorporated into their next full build that they release, which could come out whenever. I think it's version 4, but this is where it's at. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I ever want to upgrade again. Or update it again. I like it where it is. I like what it can do. I'm really happy about that. So let's. Look at all those things. We don't need that. Christmas That Rocks. I'm going to find this stinking thing. Bill sent me a link a while ago, and I don't know where it's at now. So unless, oh no, that'll be months and away up here because that was a long ass time ago. I'll get back to playing music in a second. I promise. Oh, maybe take a yawn or two. Lots of memes. Lots of crap. You know what? I can search. All right, let me just do this. I think we did this a while back, like months ago. Nope. Is that the only one? No, 14 of them. So, Christmas Wish, blah, blah, blah. 9 months. Christmassy guitars. Oh, there it is. Bada bing! Might already be sold out. They only made 300 copies. That's it. Only 300. But I wish everybody luck in finding this thing. Bingo. Rex Records. Rocks production. Rocks, sorry, not Rex. Kirk needs to know how to read. That's fun stuff. But at any rate, yes, Christmas That Rocks Volume 3. See this track right here? That's Bill kicking ass and taking names, and then there's a solo spot for me in it. So I was going to go ahead and release that that little lead spot because I actually have me a video of me, of course, recording the dang thing, and it did pretty well. So I'm happy about that. So I've to answer your question, man. No, it's not music that I wrote. Deck the Halls is a classic Christmas song that Bill, I keep calling Bill. Go back in the chat quite a ways. You shall see Guitar Pit of Horrors. That would be Bill. He's the one who did like everything on this. But he said, "Do you want to play a lead on it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to play a lead on it." So I played a lead on it. And I believe, if I'm not being too bold about this, if there is another Reptalian album coming out at some point in the future, he would like me to be on it. So I would be happy to be on it. And I've done 2 tracks now with lead work for Julia, who is absent the last couple of weeks, but that's fine. It's not her name, by the way. So, Melina, take that. So, that last one, I'm still kind of, I'm not, like mad or anything like that, but the majority of the work that I actually did for the lead did not make it. And it's okay. It's her music. It's not mine. And that's the whole point, right? So this... made it, which is great because that's the constructed part that I would have preferred to be on that in the first place. Oh no, my wife is very not into music or guitars. Let's see. Yep. I am married. She doesn't like any of my music. But we were early on able to bond over a couple of things. I like Journey a lot. And so we could listen to Journey together, and it was cool. She could tolerate music by a band called Amorphous and Celestial Season, which sounded a lot like Amorphous as well. Yeah, I know, right? The family that plays together stays together. But we've been married for 26 years, so I think we're okay. So, but she does not like my music at all. I've never written a song that she's liked. I've never played in a band that contains music that she appreciates. She's into things like Disturbed and whatnot. But yeah, well, Separate Ways is great. Something like that. Do it there too, but yeah. No, it's Amorphous. Amorphous is great. I've got a one cover from them from their Elegy album. But if I were you, I'd start with Tales from the Thousand Lakes. If you can imagine a doom metal version of The Doors, that's them. And I don't like The Doors. This is freaking great. It's good stuff all over the place. It's good stuff. Yeah, no, I'm serious. I'm not trying to make it sound sad. It's true. She just doesn't like my music, and I think that's fine. Would I want to force her to like something? No. I even wrote a song for her once. It's an instrumental. I think it went. How did that go? Oh, yeah. How did that go? This was 20 years ago. And she was like, meh. But it was really nice. It was kind of Satriani-ish and everything like that. That's okay. Oh, Manowar? No, it's nothing like Manowar. Let me play a little bit of Tales from the Thousand Lakes to give you an idea. And the reason why Tales from the Thousand Lakes is so important to me is that's where I got on board. Listen, musical, metal, Adolescent Leftovers. Nope, not in there. Death and Beyond. Yeah, Amorphous, right. No, Hard to Place. That's the weird one. So Miscellaneous. There they are. Amorphous. Oh, Hopper, you're okay, buddy. So here's Tales from the Thousand Lakes. Here is a little song called Into Hiding. in a lot of cases that may be true, but no, my wife genuinely isn't into my kind of music at all. She liked the Black Album from Metallica. She likes Disturbed, System of a Down, stuff like that. I don't like any of that. We just don't gel on music. And besides, when we first met, I was really big onto black metal, thrash, death metal, huge onto death metal. I would consider this doom, but at the time it was called melodic death metal. Today, doom-like. C sharp. Really simple, but still good. Well, not all doom is like this. This is technically, again, when it first came out, this was classified as melodic death metal. But not all melodic death metal is the same. This crosses so many boundaries into so many different levels and territories, I want to call it doom. Doom is more properly classified under bands like Candlemass. They're the ones that started it all. But Candlemass is also awesome, so let me play a little Candlemass. By the way, it's not just... These guys have Cookie Monster vocals, yes, but they also have clean vocals. So let's listen to a little bit more while I'm finding the other stuff, and you can hear the vocals. Come in. There we go. What was I going to play? Oh yeah, Candlemass. All right, so The Sword is another one that's very popular. They're also contemporary, so they're still out there today. Whereas Amorphous is out there, but I don't really hear from them. And Candlemass, I haven't heard a new track from them in a long time. I might just be living in a cave, though, so I don't know. Wait till the clean vocals come in, though. And by the way, I can only recommend 2 albums from these guys. It's Tales from the Thousand Lakes and Elegy. That's it. Night City. I'll look them up. Okay, so that's like that lead vocalist there, the clean guy. To me, it always sounded like Axl Rose trying to sing like Bruce Dickinson. I always loved it. They changed their clean vocalist on the next album, and then on the album after that, this is why I can only recommend up through Elegy. After that, they went clean vocals only, and it just got old. Something happened. It's just not the same thing. I don't like it. So okay, so check this out. This is this is Candlemass. E flat, by the way, if you're curious. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff, by the way. This, man, I had this album, I want to say in 1990 or 91. This was probably the slowest music I listened to at the time. We used to use it as a joke, but I loved it. Oh, they're good. That's why it's very easy to like. Here we go. Yeah. That was it. I messed it up, but I got it. I was actually going to cover this one. Learned everything but most of the lead. I had a little bit of the lead, but I never learned the rest of it. Then I went on to other projects. Guy has the most unique vibrato. Great voice. Messiah was his name, so yeah, great stuff. But yeah, that album was Ancient Dreams from Candlemass. Get that one. That's great. Or at least go out, find it, listen to the whole thing. It's really great. Let's see. I'm not really into a lot of Doom stuff. Go off of what I've done here. Here we go. Hello, look at that. So this is my adolescent leftovers. This is pretty much anything I got into from the age of 14 on up. So on up to probably 22, maybe at most. But most of this I already knew about or was into prior to that. So, Annihilator, Anthrax. This is mostly thrash too. Danzig, not thrash. Dark Angel, that's one you should check out, but they only have, in my opinion, one really, really good album. No, I do have Spotify, but I rarely use it for anything but some podcasts. The one in particular I could call, it's kind of a spooky one. It's called The Black Tapes. It's pretty neat. I've also heard of one called Ghosts of Appalachia, but I haven't really tuned into that, so, I've heard that it's up my alley. So Exodus, Fear Factory, I guess that was in my 20s. I didn't really listen to them until I was like 21, 22. But you should be liking these songs. They're good stuff. Here's some classic stuff from a neat little band named Prong. Album, Beg to Differ. It's the only one I liked. After that, they went more along the lines of like, let's do just Pantera power. No. What is that? Rhythm over melody. And I like some melody, so it's good. If we take that into consideration, melody to me is king. Your Fear, classic track, really, really nice. Makes you feel small and alone. This is another one that I used to play Sonic 2. Well, actually, I used to play to this and Live in Barcelona, Sepultura. But something like For Dear Life, excellent tune. Never learned any of this stuff. Something like that. Ah, that's interesting. They do a chord there. But again, never learned it. Recommend that whole album. It's great. Decidedly not doom or melodic death metal, but let's entertain the death metal thing. So In Death and Beyond is mostly like death and black metal. But I do like a whole lot of this stuff. So if you're interested in anything like really heavy, I can probably give you some ideas, but let's see. There's some of the lesser known ones. Thy Serpent is not very well known, but it could almost split the difference. They have a lot of albums, but Christ Crusher was one that I really got into, and unfortunately it's Flack, of course. This is like low-rent Dimmu Borgir, but it's good. Big influence of mine from 2001-ish. Yeah, you go right ahead, man. You're fine. But I can also recommend Opeth. But, oh, that's okay. Are you familiar with Opeth? Or Opeth, depending on, how you want to pronounce it? Because these 4 albums here would be all that you need, and you would be very thankful for it. Ideal way to figure out a song's tuning. Well, experience is the best teacher for that one. So when I was learning the Candlemass tune, I listened to the lowest note, and I'm like, that's not as low as I'm going, so it's lower than that. Couldn't get into them? Okay, no problem. I probably won't recommend Tiamat either then. Although the older Tiamat is much more death metal than their Wild Honey, which is their most famous album, because it was like death metal Pink Floyd. Mostly Pink Floyd. So I'm not going to make you get into them. But out of curiosity, what album from Opeth did you hear? Let's try then. Should I? Oh, yes, I should. So, well, music appreciation is not the same thing, as actually liking music. So I can find something I appreciate about any music that I listen to. But it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to listen to it again or that I actually like it or will seek it out. So, okay, if you're going to do that, I'm not going to recommend Blackwater Park. It's where a lot of people start. I'm going to recommend Damnation and Deliverance. Technically it's double record, but they released them separately. One is pretty much just kind of mellow, clean stuff. And the other one has mellow, clean stuff parts, but is mostly crushing. So there is a difference. So this is a good band. Let's do a very famous tune of theirs, Leviathan. Now, what's not to like about that? I know nothing from these guys, but I can tell you the key that they're tuned to. Now, I know that that's a second that they're hanging on. They're tuned to D. That's it. So that is a distinct difference between not us, you and I. I'm with you on that, but a distinct difference between players like Julia, for instance. She hasn't been on, like I said, in a couple of weeks, but she is big into Dream Theater, huge. Dream Theater and Flames are like her two favorite groups, and I am not the biggest fan of Dream Theater either. Not since Kevin left. When Kevin left, the whole band collapsed for me. It sounded like they were flailing in the dark trying to find themselves, and they never found themselves. Because Kevin was the soul of the band. All right, so Burning Witches. Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on. Burning Witches. That's got Courtney Cox in it, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Let's find it. I think my kids are home. That's Witched Kirk. How about an S there instead of a D? Band. Yeah. Swiss. Is it? All female heavy metal. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Courtney Cox was, of course, of the Iron Maidens, was the better of the two guitar players between her and Nita Strauss. Nita has a lot of sweep ability, but Courtney had all the actual chops. Sorry, Nita Strauss. She's really good, but Courtney was better. So. Sure. Dance with the Devil. There we go. Let's do this. Oh, I have a notice. Wow. So. Yes, that is a Friends character, Monica, but it's a different person. They just happen to have the same name. So, let's try that again. Something like that. Oh, that's with their old guitarist. That's not Courtney. Hello. Okay, so for one, I think they're tuned to E flat. Very possible. Let's try it again. I want to hear. This is how I figure stuff out, so, you know. Or C sharp. Yeah, they tuned to C sharp. So that's, you see how I did that? It's just a matter of finding where it is and going, okay, it's lower than this. So if I'm here, and I know that's the root, well, that's too high. So, and they're not just playing it like this. I know that one octave lower is where they're tuned to. So there you are. And this, bet you dollars to donuts, it's a C minor tapped arpeggio. With a harmony outlining that. But I think they're tapping it. Type of deal, so let's see. Oh. That's it. Something like that. Something like that. Oh, Overkill's got a lot of different versions of Overkill. My Overkill may not be the Overkill that you know. So I listened to, back in '88, I was listening to, what is that? Under the Influence, which is songs like Hello from the Gutter and Drunken Wisdom and End of the Line and, you know, stuff like that. Great, great, great stuff. After that came the Years of Decay, and I wasn't as big of a fan of that, although Elimination I thought was fun. But then out came, I think it was Horoscope. I was pretty sure it was next, and then after that was I Hear Black. And Horoscope was a definite departure, and I thought much more... I honestly thought... Now, I'm going to see them next Monday, by the way. They're opening for King Diamond, so I'm very excited about that. But, yeah, the thrash metal, but it's exactly what I'm talking about. So, but... Horoscope was a different album for them. Horoscope was like, there were some parts in it which were really, really neat, but others was kind of like generic. It just sounded generic. The vocals were good, the drums were good, but it just sounded generic. I Hear Black, on the other hand, had some really great stuff. Oh, Horoscope itself, the song is tuned to drop D, and it's one of the neatest things in the world to play in drop D. Let's get a heavier sound. And then I'm going to get off of here pretty soon because I got a bedtime approaching and I got people that are home. People, of all things. Hi, people.
Hi, people. How are you?
Oh, I'm well. Where have you guys been up to?
I've been over at the house.
Oh, you guys have been in Yelm.
Yeah, I've been over there. Ed's been over there in Lacey.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Don't-
busy.
What you been doing in Lacey?
Hanging out with Rora.
Oh, again? Cold strings here. Let's do this. Let's turn off the delay. That's fine to have the big giant there boost. You know, not enough. Let's do a lead. Maybe no reverb. Not nearly as hulking, powerful a sound as I was hoping to get. My tunes are dying. There we go. So let's tune to drop D. Simple way to do that. And then just do... Yeah, something like... How did that go? That's pretty much it. It's great, though. Good stuff. I Hear Black. I think it's in F sharp. This is a older Washburn. I want to say. So I started with the Yamaha, right? And just put that down and I pick up a Washburn. So the Washburn M series from the 90s are, well, that and the 90s Yamaha RGXs are some of the best guitars you can find from that era that nobody talks about. So these play extremely well. Now, I did the pick guard for this, and I put in these pickups, and I did the two-way toggle switch and single volume knob. There's no coil tapping in this one though. So I modify every guitar that I have in one form or another. They always get modifications, and this one was no exception. I also think I yanked out all the frets and I put new ones in. So there's that. But one of the things that make this particular iteration of guitar kind of special is no, they're not. I got this guitar for about $120. I made the pick guard myself. I put in the electronics, bought the pickups separately. These are Alnico 3s from a company called Giovanni, which is like Artec's top of the line. They don't really make those anymore. Those are really hard to find, but they sound great to me. They're very... Yeah. There's another one I got. I call it Blondie. It's the one I did. What was that? The cover lead that to Set It on Fire or whatever it was. That one. That's another one of the Washburn types of the day. I've got them with Floyd's too. I like the look of this because it was weird and different. It's like Les Paul meets a Strat, and it's very comfortable and they play great. And the other one I got for like $130, but again, no pickups. And I made the pick guard for that, installed new pickups and all that. What's another thing I could tell you? So this Yamaha I got for I think $200, but it had pickups in it. I just had to change them out. So yeah, I'm frugal, man. I love a good deal, but nobody talks about these. These are amazing instruments. They play very, very well. But yeah, the whole, let's see. I'm only on Mondays. I'm pretty I'm weirdly busy. I've got a lot going on, but I'll try to summarize. So Mondays I give myself time to do this. I've got rehearsals on Saturday, band practice, and so that's that. I didn't have one this Saturday. I was kind of on the ill side, but still, nevertheless. And then I work Monday through Friday. So I get home, I have enough time to pretty much cook, and that's pretty much it. But I always try to play like an hour a day, and I suggest you do the same. So no, I don't stream on the weekends because I'm usually, like I said, I'm at rehearsal on Saturday. I get home and I don't want to play after that. And then on Sunday, I'm competing with people like Sunday with Ola. And I used to stream on Sundays, but then everybody else is home. My wife has the day off and she's home. She doesn't want to hear me play. So that leads me to what I was going to talk about earlier on today, though. I've got a second. I appreciate you, man. This is my only real social media, though. I know there's a lot of hype about Instagram, but man, I'm not really into self-promotion, I guess. So here's something fun for you, though. I'm setting up a satellite studio in my bedroom, so I can go ahead and play when other people are home and not have to infringe on them, because we have an open floor plan here. This computer room / guitar room leads right into the main hallway, right into the kitchen, and then right into the living room. So and then into the dining area and stuff like that. But the entranceway, and so there's no way I can just shut out this sound. So. The band that I'm in, I would like to make sure that you understand that I'm going to be in, I don't know if I'm like the committed member yet. I don't know if Bill's gone ahead and said, yes, Kirk, you're absolutely in, but I'm in Reptalian, as far as I know, for the next album, if there is one. And over the band that I rehearse with every Saturday is just going to be a cover band with some originals. But the originals are going to be kind of weird. So please be of the understanding that although I'm a metal guy, the originals that I've done so far are... Yeah. The originals that I've done so far, though, the rehearsals, like I was explaining, is for a local band. Reptalian is a distance project. So, and that's just me, writing and recording with Bill. and making sure things are good. But no, hear me out. So it's going to be covers and then originals. So the originals that we've got are basically the ones that I write. So if I've done that pumpkin spice, you know. We're doing Pumpkin Spice. I just have to learn how to sing it and play it at the same time. I'm not a singer. And then we're also doing the Cat Paralysis, you know. That, you know. So we're doing that as well. But any covers that we write, or not covers, any songs that we write, I guess they're just going to be incorporated with it. And the only thing about that is, I mean, it started as a different project than it is. It was going to be like 60s psychedelia and stuff, and I'm not really into that. But I am into stuff that was from like 1974, the year of my birth, right? So I'll say 1970 all the way through to 1992, and that's when I stop liking like music that's on the radio. So, that's what some of the stuff that we're doing. So right now we've got a very interesting set list of some Satriani, weirdly enough. And I've mentioned that before, the Mystical Potato Head, you know. So we're doing that, and that's fun for me because, I mean, I really get to push myself. This, you know, I'm not playing it right. I'm not even playing it right at all, so. That kind of thing. Wow, I'm not playing. I'm going to practice on this guitar because I apparently can't do it on this. So, but yeah, so we're playing that. We're playing a Pink Floyd tune. We're playing some other stuff. I think we're going to do like a Zeppelin medley, just some Sabbath tunes. And we just got our singer the other week. So, and then he had COVID, and then, you know, now he's back and he's okay again. But yeah, man, it was it's a trip. So he gave me a shirt. Guy's the coolest dude. Concert's a good way to meet a girl. Out of my last experience playing live, I was married at the time, so I don't know. So largely side away from relationships for most of your life, but now you're feeling it. Well, good for you, bud. So I'll tell you, the way I see the whole. Let's break that down. I know you're getting out of here, and so am I. But let's break that down real quick. If you're playing at a regular established location, like again and again and again, like you got a reoccurring gig, and you see this person there, and she expresses interest. Let's say that she does. Have you been able to watch to see if she's a hoe? Because hoes be mad, and we don't date the hoes. That's a very hoe math don't add up. So, and if she doesn't act like that, well, maybe there's some good stuff. If she likes your music, that's another good thing. But it doesn't have to be. You know, you could approach it slightly differently. Make sure, out of 26 years of marriage and a 28-year relationship, I think the thing that you really want to consider the most is that both you and that person are other people. You are not her. She is not you. She can be into things that you're not into, and it's cool. So give her space. Let her do that. Let her. You know, make sure she knows you're interested. I mean, don't ever lose that. You don't just want to just cast her aside and you chase me. No, make sure that she knows you're interested. But you know, and make sure that she knows you care about her. But you know, just recognize that she's a separate person. That's all. So. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Just remember that, you know, you're not even if you become one person, you're not one person. You're still separate people. You'll still have your different likes. You'll still have different tastes. You and she will never see blue the same. You know, the color blue. You don't know what she sees when she sees blue. You know it probably is the same blue as you're seeing, but you don't know that. You'll never know that. You just got to know that you're not the same person. So that's the most important thing. And I'm saying that for real because, you know, some people actually don't recognize that. I've always recognized that. And it seems to work, you know. You recognize that a person is... So I did have a girlfriend once that used to call everything ours, and that bothered the crap out of me. Tracy was a nice girl, but every time she mentioned, like, I borrow a car to go and go get a pack of smokes or something, she comes with me. she would call the car our car. And I'm like, no. That's just too much for me. All right, dude. You have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. You can do this again. Yes, this is every Monday night. I try to be on at 6. Usually it winds up being like 6:15. So anywhere between 6 and 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, that's where I'll be on. But I think my headache's coming back already. All right. Well, at any rate, have a good night. Thanks for showing up. And I'll play you out. There we go. And with that, good night to everybody. Thanks for showing up tonight. Been a good talk. Until next week. Maybe even earlier, probably not. Be well out there. Play faster. And if you're in the Pacific Northwest, watch out for the storm, especially if you're on the coast tomorrow. Sounds like it's going to be a whopper. Night all.